In most fighting games, the strongest characters are often the slowest, and Ike is no exception to this rule. His moveset consists of mainly heavy sword swings and the occasional punch and kick with his jabs and throws, which actually feels pretty authentic and true to Ike's character. Fortunately, his custom moves stay within these parameters, and instead of creating a whole new element to his character, they modestly complement his existing moves. So let's break down each of Ike's custom specials and determine the best moveset for both casual and competitive play. Neutral Special 1 is Eruption, which is one of Ike's strongest moves overall. It takes about 2 seconds to act again from the moment you input the move, but it's not something you want to be using often anyways. It does 10% uncharged, and if you fully charge the move you can do 35%, but Ike will take 10% damage as well. It also kills extremely early if you charge it, which is where its real power comes into play. Eruption's hitbox is pretty big, and it even extends beneath Ike a little. This means that at the ledge you can out-prioritize almost any recovery and send enemies blasting away in a ball of fire. You can also use this low hitbox to hit enemies underneath you on Battlefield's platforms. At mid percents, this will launch them up for combos or even kill setups, so try it out. Side Special 1 is Quick Draw, a move that launches Ike forward, and if he happens to meet something while dashing, he'll swing his sword. When used on the ground, Ike can almost travel the full length of Final Destination with a fully charged Quick Draw. However, if used in the air, you'll be able to slide a bit after landing. Being a strong but slow character, any move that can help Ike get in fast to continue attacking or get out of bad situations is extremely useful. If an opponent tries to get in the way and block an aerial quick draw, you'll be able to attack again right after or recover if need be. However, if you don't hit anyone or make it to the stage, you'll fall helplessly to your death. But you can still wait to execute the move as long as you want after it's charged, so make sure to mix up your recoveries. Counter is default down special, and although Ike is a powerhouse character, his counter only deals back 1.2 times damage, with a minimum of 10%. But the move comes out in 9 frames and lasts for 26, which is a pretty long counter window. This allows you to counter on reaction if you see a move coming or if your opponent is charging a smash attack. You can also get a lot of value out of counter by using it at the ledge to set up for another edge guard and keep your positional advantage. Just keep in mind that some characters don't have hitboxes on their recoveries, so in that case Eruption or an aerial would be a better option. When recovering with Ike, you can also use counter to stall a little bit or block incoming attacks and get back safely. Counter and Eruption are also extremely good moves in matches with more than 1 or 2 opponents, so definitely make sure to take advantage of enemies who aren't expecting you to just fully charge a special move in their face. Up Special 1 is Aether, a 4-hit move with a ton of uses to boot. If you get every hit to connect, you can do 12 to 16% damage, but the real benefit are the attributes of the individual hits. The first hit where Ike throws his sword upwards has super armor, so you can use it to break through enemy attacks, and it's especially good out of shield. The descending hit is a meteor smash, similar to Kirby's up special, and you can still grab the ledge after spiking your opponent. The final hit when Ike makes contact with the ground delivers horizontal knockback, which can be used to create offensive opportunities or keep enemies at a safe distance. Recovery-wise, Aether doesn't have much horizontal momentum, so you really have to get close to the stage to use it, which makes it pretty predictable. It's also important to learn the sweet spot distance, because a lot of characters have moves that can trade with it or beat it at the ledge. Tempest is neutral special 2, and it trades the explosive hitbox for a pretty big wind box. Tempest also charges faster than the other neutral specials, so you can unleash a massive wind box a lot quicker than you could a deadly eruption. Just like any other move that pushes opponents back, Tempest is extremely useful for denying characters who recover incorrectly, but you can also use it to set up an edge guard. When you have to recover, Tempest also comes in handy as a stall move that pushes back incoming opponents. Since Ike has such a strong moveset already in terms of damage and kill power, it doesn't really hurt him too much to swap out Eruption for Tempest. Side Special 2 Close Combat is still a quick dash forward, just with a shoulder tackle instead of a slash at the first thing Ike comes into contact with. It's a bit faster than Quick Draw and hits enemies upwards, allowing for possible follow-ups and combo opportunities. I've heard of players using it to juggle enemies, but you can't really depend on hitting more than 2 in a row unless your opponent doesn't know how to DI or jump. However, if you hit someone with it in the air, it can very well be an easy kill. Distance-wise, close combat seems to travel just as far as quick draw when fully charged, however it does far less damage. You'll also be left in a helpless fall state after using this move in the air, regardless of whether or not you hit somebody. Not only that, but it also doesn't have the little slide effect that default slide special has after landing, so you really have to be careful with how you recover using close combat. But if you play a very offensive Ike, close combat will have lots of value to you on stage, being a great mobility tool with a hitbox that you can use to approach, retreat, and even get behind shields. Paralyzing counter is down special 2, or para counter as you may have read or heard online. Instead of countering with an attack, down special 2 stuns enemies for a brief moment. The stun mechanic is extremely useful with characters like Zero Suit Samus and Robin. However, when your Ike and all of your attacks come out super slow, it seems like the only reliable option after the stun is a jab combo, possibly a neutral air, or possibly a forward tilt if you're looking to stun into a kill. Ike having rage also contributes to the stun duration, but not by much. People have claimed to up smash after the stun, but your opponent's percent would need to be pretty high for it to work. Up special 2 Aether Drive gives Ike a little bit more damage on his recovery, as well as horizontal distance, and he really only has to sacrifice a bit of vertical recovery distance. He can still meteor smash with the descending hit of the move, and having another horizontal recovery option aside from side special really makes Ike's recovery less predictable and much more safe. Many players have complained about being doomed to self-destruct if you don't sweet spot the ledge or get above it. However, in many of these scenarios you can still grab the ledge by holding back on the control stick while Ike is in motion. In terms of offense, the final hit of Aether Drive sends enemies upwards as opposed to outwards, and at higher percents, the first hit will usually hit enemies too far to connect with the rest of the move. Neutral Special 3 Furious Eruption pretty much takes the eruption we know and love and buffs it up in every area. The Fire Pillar hitbox is larger, the move lasts a few frames longer, and being stronger also means it can kill earlier. A fully charged Furious Eruption tends to KO around 30%, which is actually ridiculous. Unfortunately, Ike takes 10% damage just by charging the move halfway, and 15% if fully charged. You also can't hit enemies below the battlefield platforms with this move because the hitbox doesn't extend as low as the other neutral specials, which also makes it really hard to edgeguard certain characters recovering from below the ledge. Unyielding Blade is side special 3, which turns quick draw into an almost counter-like move. It has much less range and speed than the other two side specials, however it has super armor during both the charge and lunge animations. What this means is that you have a much larger window of time to counter an attack. You can input the move, take the hit, and then unleash your attack. Unfortunately, Side Special 3 takes away Ike's only real quick movement tool on stage, and pretty much half of his recovery. Like Furious Eruption, Down Special 3 is just a buffed up version of Counter, aptly named Smash Counter. It hits with approximately 1.5 times damage of the incoming attack and will dish out a minimum of 15% damage, even if you counter a jab. The only problem with this move is that there's a little delay in between when Ike gets hit and when he counters, similar to how Shulk's down special works. This means that Ike will sometimes miss enemies with Smash Counter in the air, or if the incoming attack has very little ending lag, the opponent might be able to shield or dodge before the counterattack hits. Aether Wave is up special 3, and once again it's kind of similar to Kirby's up special, this time in a different way. When Ike hits the ground, a shockwave erupts that extends in front of Ike almost halfway across battlefield. Unlike Kirby's up special, however, the shockwave that Ike produces is a physical attack and not a projectile. He also does the animation a lot faster, making it so that the individual hits can't combo into each other, and killing its meteor smash effect. On top of that, Ike's horizontal momentum while using this move is severely restricted compared to default up special, which makes his recovery even more predictable and easy to punish. However, at the ledge, the shockwave extends quite far off stage, so it does have value in terms of edge guarding. Being quite the powerhouse already, Ike doesn't really need custom moves that give him more damage and knockback. What he lacks within his moveset are better recovery options and more mobility overall. So if you want to play a faster Ike who lives a bit longer, I recommend this custom set. Neutral Special 1, Eruption. Side Special 2, Close Combat. Down Special 1, Counter. Up Special 2, Aether Drive. Ike's Neutral Special is a great move for what it's worth. It's slow, but it delivers a ton of damage and knockback, so making it slower and adding more damage and knockback doesn't really make sense. Unlike Furious Eruption, default neutral special still hits enemies under Battlefield's platforms, which can really be useful considering being on a platform above your enemy is something you really want to avoid as Ike. Neutral Special 2 Tempest is extremely useful for helping Ike's recovery and against characters who primarily recover horizontally, or in those scenarios where your opponent recovers terribly and you just toss out a win box and watch them fall to their death. But if you're confident in your recovery skills and just want a neutral special that does damage, Eruption is definitely the way to go. Side Special 2 Close Combat still gives Ike the speed and mobility of Quick Draw, but it's a lot quicker and has a lot more follow-up potential. While it does less damage than Quick Draw overall, its upwards knockback can KO opponents off the top of the screen pretty easily if you make contact high in the air. Some players have said they've even been able to juggle enemies with this move, but whether or not you're able to pull that off, hitting them straight up definitely creates combo opportunities and other follow-ups. On stage you can use it to get behind opponents since Ike doesn't stop when he makes contact, but he won't slide when hitting the ground like he does with Quick Draw. Ike also needs contact to make Quick Draw an offensive move, whereas Close Combat is both an offensive move and a very quick movement tool. Although Ike has some pretty creative custom down specials, default counter seems to have more positives than negatives. When it works, whereas Paralyzing Counter and Smash Counter don't actually guarantee you a counter attack. Stun moves are extremely useful in Smash, and a stronger counter move does sound better. However, both of Ike's custom down specials just aren't as reliable as the default counter. You do have to be mindful of when and how you use it, but that's pretty much the golden rule with every single move in the game. Knowing that you're going to hit your opponent pretty hard if you successfully counter their attack is just something that shouldn't really have any exceptions. Up Special 2 Aether Drive is a huge buff to Ike's recovery. Although the only real difference in the move is one angle, it opens up multiple options to get back to the stage safely. If you're close to the stage and keep falling to your death instead of grabbing the ledge, just hold back on the control stick once Ike starts the move. If you're high enough to begin with, Ike will grab the ledge without a problem. He loses a bit of vertical distance with this move and the super armor on startup, but you can still meteor smash enemies just like you would with the default up special, and Ike's recovery is a lot less predictable overall. Thanks for watching episode 12 of Custom Corner. Want your favorite character to be next? Then let me know who you'd like to see in the comments. For more episodes in the series, just click the videos on your screen, or if you can't see the annotations, all of the links are in the video description below. If you like competitive Smash, make sure to check out the Even Matchup Gaming channel at youtube.com/evenmatchupgaming. I'm GOODxJESUS Smash Central, thanks for watching and happy smashing!